Welcome, UB student athletes and almost student athletes. We've got a handful of you that aren't quite here yet, and you're still prospective student athletes. You'll be athletes once you report for either your fall preseason or class. Everybody, I'm Kelly Crutton. I'm the Associate Athletic Director here. Forgive me if you see me looking up. I have a giant screen that's kind of high up above me, and that's easier for me to look at while I'm doing these. Eric Sealis, Assistant AD, is here with me. We'll be guiding you through this process. For those new students, welcome. It's good to see you. We're located in Alumni Arena 166. For those returners, you should know us by now, know our faces, know where to find us. Welcome again. This is your introduction to what we're going to call from here on out name, image, and likeness, NIL. I'm going to refer to it many, many times today. If I had a nickel for every time I've said it in the last 6 months, I'd be rich and retired. So let's walk through a little bit about name, image, and likeness and how it's going to change your lives and has already changed our lives forever. Here's the agenda for tonight. Hopefully we won't take up too much of your time. If you have your phone out and you're playing around and not paying attention, I suggest you stop doing that and give me this focus time. This is the biggest change in college athletics in modern history. We are changing how we fundamentally look at amateur athletics. I'm going to talk a little bit about the background and history, what's going on nationally, our internal policies and procedures, how you're going to report these activities to us, a little bit of a timeline, who's a prospect versus who's already here, current student athletes. We're going to talk about some future programming. I'm going to show you some examples and then just some online safety stuff just to kind of make sure that I'm doing my due diligence with you guys. So as most of you probably have already heard, the NCAA announced this week that they are allowing student athletes to use their name, image, and likeness to profit off those in business ventures. So that is the fundamental change. In the past, if Molly McCready wanted to go shoot a commercial for a sporting goods store, we had to tell her no. Nobody can use your name, image, and likeness. I've been saying that for over 21 years. If any of you wanted to go, Kendall Bacon was like, I'm going to go do a commercial for my local volleyball club and my local volleyball sports facility. You can't. They can't use your name, image, and likeness. I want to monetize my TikTok. I want to be an Instagram influencer. We had always said that's contrary to the NCAA rules. It's a violation of bylaw 12, which is the amateurism rules. You cannot profit off your name, image, and likeness. In light of court rulings and state legislation and potential federal legislation, the NCAA was supposed to create their own legislation that said some sort of change. We knew it was coming for months and months and months. I alluded to it last year that it was coming. Well, the NCAA couldn't get it sorted out with the federal government and the state government. So what the NCAA said this week, and we expected it this week, if your state that your school is in has a bill or a law about name, image, and likeness for athletes, which a lot of them do, you can use that as your guide. So there's many. Eric, how many states are there that have bills? Was it almost 30?
Yeah, it's about 30.
If your state does not have a bill, like New York State, there is no bill right now. There was one, it didn't go anywhere. It's kind of stalled. There's not anything in the works. Then you need to create your own institutional guidelines and policies for name, image, and likeness. So that's what we've been doing. So what is going to happen now is that you, as a UB student athlete, or when you become a student athlete by getting here, for those of you not here yet, this is just information until you get here. For those of you already here, you're going to be able to start doing this as of tomorrow. Starting tomorrow, Erin Murphy can monetize her Instagram and promote her friend's t-shirt business or sell Krispy Kreme donuts and tag them and make money off of those things. That is the fundamental change. Lots of components to this, and we're going to keep it super simple for you guys. Eric and I are not going to overcomplicate this presentation because it's not an overcomplicated process or policy that we're going to deal with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to move into our policy, which is already on the UB website. So this is our name, image, and likeness policy. I know you guys all love reading policies and procedures. Guess what? I love writing them more. The first component is going to be disclosure. You're going to have to tell us when you're doing them, these NIL activities, where you're doing them, how much you're doing them for. You're going to report those to us, Eric and myself. We're going to review them, approve them, and then you can engage in that activity. So Louise Hansen's going to come in. She's going to be our star track and field freshman this year. And the local sporting goods store is going to want her to do an autograph signing because she's so good and she's going to win the MAC championship. So they bring her in and say, hey, we're having a big sneaker sale. Will you just come and be here while we do this? She's going to report it to us. Eric's going to review it. Yep, that looks good. She's going to make $1,000 and we're going to move on. It's going to be all those different kinds of things. Has to be the market rate. She can't get $10,000 for doing that because that's not what the market rate is in Buffalo, New York. People aren't getting paid that high. So that is the first piece. You're going to disclose these things to the compliance office. Piece number 2, you will be able to secure an advisor, an agent, a lawyer, a financial planner to help you with these NIL activities. So hopefully that makes sense. There's all different kinds. You know, Riley Jones is going to hire a lawyer because she's going to start doing some modeling activities. And she wants to hire an advisor and a lawyer to guide her through as she starts to make money in these ventures. You're going to be absolutely be able to do that. Again, you're going to have to pay the value of that agent. So if an agent charges a flat fee, an hourly fee, lawyers usually charge by the hour, you're going to have to pay the going rate for that service and just let us know who's advising you and we'll help you with that. Any kind of agent needs to be licensed and registered in New York State. A lot of you are from many different states or even different countries that have their own agent laws, and you should familiarize yourself with that. Eric and I are not experts in that, but that could impact you as well. So make sure that if you're from Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, you're in tune with those advisors and agent laws. And these folks that would be helping you cannot market your athletic ability. They can only help you get these name, image, and likeness activities. So we've got 2 points so far. We've got some disclosure and we've got some agents and advisors and attorneys. Pretty simple so far. Next piece, just like everything else that you're doing, you're not going to be able to do this during any of our team activities. Erin can't start doing her brand ambassador on her Instagram stuff on the team bus to Akron, or while in the training room, or while during media events or community service, or during class, or during any of the mandatory activities that UB Athletics asks you to participate in. Study hall, tutoring, any of those things. Just think about if you're engaged with us, it's not permissible to be doing NIL activities. If you're working with a staff, a coach, a faculty, whatever it might be, then NIL activities are not permissible. You focus on our activities. This is for your private business in your private time. So we've got 3 bullet points now. Next one, institutional involvement. Nobody here at UB, and that's your coaches, your faculty, any kind of staff, volunteers, employees, we cannot arrange these for you, unfortunately. So Hannah Callahan is really interested in doing some promotional activities back in Rochester. She really wants a contact name at a particular store because she thinks she can be really helpful there and draw some crowd there and sell some product for this store. Sean Burke knows the owner of that store. He can't help her arrange that NIL activity. I've got lots of friends that own local businesses. I can't be handing out their business cards to you and saying, hey, my buddy owns Heartfire Yoga downtown and she's looking for some athletes to come do some yoga to inspire other athletes to come down there and do that. That would be direct involvement. So our coaches are not going to be helping you arrange these activities. We're not allowed to. That is a big piece of this. So please remember that. We're going to make you attest to that every single time you do something. Every single time you go to do a name, image, and likeness activity, I'm going to ask you to verify a bunch of questions that you confirm you understand this, you've read it, you've seen it, and that nobody here helped you get it. Your coach didn't help you, your advisor didn't help you, your tutor didn't help you. Nobody arranged for these things for you. So we have a lot of folks in the community nationwide that are what we call athletic representatives. They're boosters. They're people that donate money. They have season tickets. They have suites. They have courtside. They help us and promote us by supporting us financially. Those folks will get educated as well, but they should not be reaching out to any kind of prospective student athletes. And again, most of you are going to become student athletes or are already student athletes. So this piece wouldn't be super relevant to most of you, but it will as we move into the future with different recruiting classes. These folks cannot promise a recruit that's still in high school or in junior college these NIL opportunities, trying to get them to lure them to UB. Another critical piece, and you all need to think about this for those of you thinking about monetizing your social media. You cannot use any kind of university or athletic apparel, equipment, facilities, brands, names, all those things you see on that screen. You can't use anything UB with our uniforms on campus. Think about all of the Josh Allen commercials, the ridiculous ones where he does Northtown. Automotive that you see locally on TV, and he's wearing all black because the Bills won't let him use their logos because he doesn't have a right to those logos. It's going to be the same thing. This will be tricky for those of you with a lot of followers that want to monetize your social media. You're going to have to clean them up and clean them up quickly because a lot of them have lots of UB logos, trademarks, uniforms, all of that stuff. That is not permissible to use because you do not own the rights to those marks and logos. Nothing in our facilities. You can't use our equipment, our apparel. You can't go do a photo shoot, a commercial, a modeling, an autograph session with all of our stuff. That is not permissible. That will end. This will end up being the hardest piece for some of you to remember and adhere to. You can't speak on our behalf. You can't say something's official or exclusive. You know, women's soccer sponsor. That is not going to be permissible. You can't engage in activities that are contrary or indirect competition with our three big sponsors, Nike, New Era, and Pepsi products. And again, we're going to vet all this activity as you report it to us, and I'll show you how you're going to do that. We're going to move into that later in this Zoom. Conflicts with university values and prohibited activities. Most of these you would expect that we would not allow you to engage in. Any kind of organized gambling in any format, street and recreational drugs, anything to do with cannabis, tobacco, smokeless tobacco, vaping, alcohol, adult entertainment, clubs, pornography, anything that's contrary to the university's discrimination policies, or anything that would be damaging to the university's reputation. So I'm just going to unshare there for a second. Like, hopefully you're kind of grasping what I'm talking about here, is that this is, for the first time ever in collegiate Division I athletics, your opportunity to use this time in your life where you may have a good reputation as an athlete, whether here, across the community, across the country, to profit off of that, where we've always told you you couldn't do that. You can make t-shirts tonight with your name on them and your picture and funny shirts and start selling them to your friends. As long as they meet all of these criteria, and you submit the request to us through software, which we're going to show you, it's through an app, you're going to be able to do all of those things. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of things you can do. I'll talk a little bit more about that. It's crazy. Like, just the words coming out of my mouth don't seem real to me. It's just so different than anything we've ever done before. So for those of you that start to engage in these and maybe don't follow our protocols, you don't get it approved, it's not market rate, you use a logo, that first time that we become aware of a violation of this, we're going to bring you in with Eric, myself, your coach, Mark Allnut, the athletic director, and then we're going to have a discussion about why you're not following the protocols. And then for those repeat offenders, really egregious behavior, maybe you're intentionally using our logos, using our facilities, coming in after hours, sneaking into the Murchie family field house to do a commercial, things like that. We're going to start pulling people from all team activities for a duration up to a week. And as it gets, if it continues to be egregious, then there's always the potential for dismissal. Hopefully we won't get there. What I'm hoping is that this is clear enough, easy enough to follow, and broad enough for you to have all of the opportunities you need and want without needing or wanting to violate anything in this policy. Just to clarify, yes, this is UB's policy, not New York State, Molly, but I'm glad that you asked that, because what we did was we crafted ours based on the bill that New York State had drafted that didn't get through the New York State legislature. It stalled. It's a mirror of that exactly. So when New York State finally does have a bill, we will be right in line with what New York State had planned, and we're not then shifting gears and telling you something different. Most states that didn't have a bill did almost exactly the same protocol. This is what the NCAA legislation was going to look like if the NCAA had gotten their act together enough to actually create legislation. It was going to look just like this. Dante, I would buy one of those t-shirts. So I'm going to move on a little bit. It's online. The link is very easy to find, ubbulls.com. You go to the compliance section, it's going to pop right up. In another day or two, we'll have a specific NIL link as a drop down in athletics that'll take you to the same policy. Disclosure, no institutional marks. You can have an agent, not during athletics facilities. If you want to monetize your current social media accounts, you must remove all photos with all logos, gear, UB stuff. Yes, absolutely. Correct. You can't use pictures of yourself with UB logos in uniform. Any of those things I listed, you can't use those photos to monetize. So if those are on your social media and you're going to monetize that, you have to remove those or you need to create a new account. The companies don't have to not be affiliated with UB in any way. They just can't be Nike, Pepsi, or New Era. Not that they can't have any university affiliation. There's a lot of companies that we deal with every day and do business with. We're not eliminating those from NIL activities. Eric, am I saying that correctly for these guys?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you laid it out there with either creating a new account or cleaning up your social media and making sure that there's no references to UB. If you are unsure on something and you're not sure if it references UB, we'd be happy to take a look at that for you, especially as we get started here.
For sure. So I had already been dealing with a current student athlete who had gotten an NCAA waiver to allow him to monetize one of his social media accounts. So we had already talked about creating a separate account that had no UB marks, logos, uniforms, references. It's me. I'm Aaron Murphy. I'm going to start doing brand ambassador stuff. I'm going to wear the hat. I'm going to tag them. I'm going to start getting people to buy those. Discount 15% if you put in an Aaron Murphy discount, and all of those different kinds of things you can now do. But in that social media profile, I'm removing all of my UB soccer stuff, all of my pictures in uniform, all of that stuff. Sorry, Aaron, you're like the first one I see when I look at this big screen. So you're going to get picked on today. When I start doing examples, I always do Rondo Segou because he's got 1 million followers on Twitter or on Instagram. Like he's always been my go-to example. I'll deal with basketball later. Good questions, guys. Appreciate it. So we've gone through here. Now we're going to move on to what we call influencer. And that is the software we've purchased to help you guys do this. you will go through a full influencer onboarding. What we're doing tonight is you're going to get a welcome email from this new software from Influencer, where you will download the app and create your account. We've given them all of your names and your cell phone numbers. So if you've had a recent cell phone number or you don't have an American cell phone number, you won't have access right away. That's okay, because some of you are not here yet. So don't worry about that until you get here and we get your cell phone numbers. We'll update them. If you go to download the app and you go to set up your account and you have an issue and it says you don't have a record, use the chat feature right in there, right in that setup, and they will get you set up. Tell them you're a UB athlete and that you have a new phone number, and they will help you out right through there. Eric and I are not tech support. We won't be able to create your accounts or help you. The only way to do it is to use the chat feature while you're trying to log in or trying to set up that account in Influencer. They will do it directly with you. It's a really, really simple app. Part of that app is going to be tagged content of you in competition and practice. And you're going to be able to post that for your followers. But if you plan to do NIL activities, that content cannot be used in those activities. And that's kind of the quandary of this great software, is that part of it is going to be us giving you all those cool graphics. So you guys get done with a game or get done with a competition, you see those kind of cool graphics where, Emily Kelly stopped 5 goals and then she's diving and there's some cool graphic. We're going to now post that content in Influencer so that you guys can just pull it up and share it to all your friends and family and all that cool stuff. And then we're also going to have an end of Influencer that is NIL reporting. And I'm going to show you a little bit what that looks like right now. So you'll all get a welcome email tonight. It will go live tomorrow. So Influencer has, and it's a little hard to see, I'm going to try to blow it up a little bit. If you look right here, there's a little $sign. When you log in, you'll click on that $sign, and then it gives you 3 ways to report this. The first one is the self-report. It's so easy. They gave Eric and I access like we were a student, and I'm like, this is the easiest thing ever. Just asks you all the information we want to know. Where are you going? When are you going there? How much are you making? Who set it up? And who's the contact info? And then you can add attachments to, like a copy of a contract or whatever it is that group is giving you, you can show us. You submit it, and then Eric and I get an email that says Erin Kelly's asking to engage in NIL. Erin Murphy's asking, to engage in NIL activities with a local vendor. It's going to be Duff's Wings. She's going to go do a photo shoot with them, and in a wing eating contest, we're going to pay her $100, and it's next Thursday. Boom, boom. Eric and I approve. And then we move on, and then you move on to your next activity. And I'll give you some better examples for those of you that can't wrap your brains around, hey, nobody's going to want me to come do a photo shoot or an autograph session. I'll move into other kind of activities that we're talking about. There's a shared reporting access where you invite the person that you're working with. Maybe you're working with a local vendor, a local business, someone online. You invite them to fill that form out, and then you submit it once it comes back to you. You'll get a push notification with all of these. So you're going to want to make sure you've enabled the Influencer push notifications on your phone. The last piece is you're engaging activities through what we call Influencer Exchange, which is kind of cool, where they show you links to all these different ways you can make money online. And Cameo is the one they feature. It's really cool where you can just click Coach Up. And I think that's a video one where you can post educational videos for your sport, like drills and stuff like that. And people pay to watch them. If you do these activities through the Influencer app like this, it will automatically log them for you. And then it will submit them back to you into your kind of inbox in Influencer, and then you'll submit them to us. Super, super, super easy. And again, nobody has the app yet. You'll get the invitation tonight. It couldn't be more easy to report these things. But that's the only reporting method you're going to get. The app, those 3 features. You tell us yourself. You invite the group that's asking you to do the activity to do it. So Lauren Valentik's going to do a photo shoot for her favorite shoe store in her hometown. They've asked her to come do it. She's going to do this thing. She goes on the influencer app, she clicks on that little thing and she tells us. Or she decides, hey, I'm going to ask the owner of the shop to do it. She's got the best information. I'm going to send it to her. Put her contact information in. She gets an alert, an email, clicks on the link, fills the information out. Lauren's getting $400, do a photo shoot at my shoe store on August 1st. Submit. And then again, it comes back to you to ultimately submit all of these. Eric, am I missing anything on that?
No, I do think we should quickly address, like with influencer and the posted graphics. There's two different components. Kelly showed you the money sign on the app. There's also a section with additional information on monetizing your name, image, and likeness. It's called the Storyteller's Playbook. It features professional athletes and some really good, cool videos there. And then the part that you'll get addressed later this summer from media relations, on promoting UB athletics and the sharing of that content as well. So you will be using influencer a lot. So it's a great idea to download it and get started, even if you're not planning on monetizing your name, image, and likeness initially. For sure. Tonight, when you get that email from influencer, just download the app. You can't log in now. It won't be live till you get the email. It won't be active. And then you should have it on your phone and have it be ready. You never know when one of these opportunities is going to come up. I think it'll start small, and I think it's going to snowball a little bit as you see what your teammates are doing, or somebody has a cool idea to post a cool video that's making some money off a bunch of views. Maybe you've got YouTube videos that are getting tons of views, and you're getting revenue from advertising, whatever it might be. Eric and I are not experts on how to make money outside of here. We're eBay side sellers and stuff like that. This isn't our gig. This is for you to learn and grow. And as much as I think in the beginning, when administrators and people in Division I say, wow, this is a big change, we're no longer going to be amateur athletes, I want to look at it positively and say, we now have the opportunity to watch young people cultivate small business and become entrepreneurial as they grow and matriculate through UB and get degrees. Erin's going to learn some very marketable skills as she starts to do this through her progression at UB. And maybe she has some money when she leaves. Maybe she makes a little bit of money. And there's always implications when you make money. So that's kind of next on the agenda that we really want to talk about. Is what you're let me scroll back up. We've talked a little bit about the prospects versus the current student athletes. For those of you that are not here yet, you have not become an athlete yet, this is for you first day of school. For my current athletes, this is starting tomorrow. All kinds of different implications with taxes. I'm not going to pretend to be a tax expert, but guess what? When you start making money, the federal government wants some of it, and the state government does too. And maybe it's New York State, maybe it's the state you live in, maybe it's both. Eric and I and people here are not going to give you tax advice. What we're going to do is bring in a tax expert that can give you a bunch of tax tips. So we're working on establishing that. We have a sports agent that's going to come in and talk about kind of the do's and don'ts when you're looking for agent representation. That will be July 27th. We'll get the information out on that. And then we plan for some future branding, or future programming with some personal branding, where you're learning how to market yourself, personal brand. There's classes if you're a business major, you've seen some of these classes already. We already offer them at UB, but there's a lot of people on campus that do want to help you grow and develop this without us actually being involved in the activity. Hopefully I haven't bored you all to death. If I were you, I would be sitting at the edge of my seat, chomping at the bit, waiting to get this started tomorrow, and in my brain spinning, what can I do that uses my name, image, and likeness, that doesn't take up a ton of my time? Great question about the international, Sawyer. We're going to address that right now. I'm glad that you asked that. As an international student, you can only work on campus. So all other questions about employment and making money, I'm going to defer right to ISSS, which is our International Services Office.
a general answer to your question, can international students make money? No, they cannot make money with these things because it's not going to be done on campus. The only money you can make is on campus, but maybe back in your home country, you're doing things where you're making money in Canada, in Germany, in Italy, in the Netherlands, wherever you may be. But in the United States, as a condition of your F1 visa, you cannot be an employee other than on campus. So probably another educational session Eric and I organize later on is specific to internationals. But in your home country, could somebody there start using your name, image, and likeness and you make money? Absolutely. Absolutely. And then you'll defer to your own country of how you deal with your taxes. Does that sound right, Eric?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
It's going to be tricky. We deal with lessons in our tennis program a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, we will defer to ISSS. That is not something you want to mess around with. Your F1 visa, the government considers a privilege to be here, and they will look to deport you if you take advantage of that privilege. So
I almost had a Canadian men's soccer player get deported one time because he was working at one of the apartment complexes across campus and didn't tell them he was Canadian, and they were paying him under the table, and he told somebody, and ISSS got wind of it. And it's like the ultimate sin is to start working off campus when you're on an F1 visa. So those are great questions. Thank you. So let's talk about a few examples of things that I think you guys will easily be doing. And number one, when Eric and I were talking about this, sports camps. Right now, you couldn't run your own sports camp and use your name, image, and likeness. A lot of you have extremely high elite talent levels that people all over here in your home country, this country, would pay for your expertise with their children. So I think running your own sports camp is probably the number one. Again, that comes with a lot of logistics and insurance, facility rentals, stuff like that. So you got to know what you're doing, and you got to have somebody help you who knows what they're doing. But that's probably a big one. Lessons and promoting lessons is probably something a little bit easier. Pitching lessons, hitting lessons, tennis lessons, swim lessons, all of the lessons your parents paid for you when you were a kid that you can do permissibly now. More so now you can use your name, image, and likeness. The Aaron Murphy goalie lessons in Buffalo, New York, $100 per hour. Sign up with me online, pay me through Venmo, and we will go to Delaware Park soccer field where I don't have to rent the fields and they're open. And I'm moving on. Music, artwork, all kinds of small businesses, anything you can think of. And it doesn't have to be a small business. It can be a big business. Landscaping, childcare, house sitting, pet care. You have friends in college that have their own small businesses or that run a little like side hustle, a little gig, whatever it might be. Same thing. You can now start doing that starting tomorrow. Apparel online with your name, image, and likeness on it. Everybody wants a t-shirt with your picture. Make t-shirts with your picture and start selling them. Brand ambassadors, social media influencers, lots of modeling opportunities, lots and lots and lots of modeling, whether they're in person or online, public appearances. And, it's going to depend on the market. Maybe back in your hometown, as you've done really well here, people really know who you are and would love to have you come speak and pay for you to come speak. Autograph signings. Some of you have current jobs where you're already working with an employer, a brand, a company, a product, whatever it might be. And now that employer can use your name, image, and likeness to promote that brand, company, product. All of those things, like that list took me about 2 seconds to think of. And there's 10 million more after that you could be doing to start making some money off your name, image, and likeness. You cannot grasp the magnitude of this right now. I can't either. I feel like kind of a deer in headlights where it was coming, it's coming. And then the NCAA just said, yep, we're going to go ahead and move forward. And Eric and I just kind of looked at ourselves and said, here we go. What can we do to make sure we have a great program in place that all of you understand this? Because I think it's pretty simple. Does the policy seem pretty simple and the procedure seem pretty simple? If you have your camera on. Just give me a little head nod. Yes. Okay. Yes. Awesome. That's the plan. The plan is to not restrict you, to keep it simple, and to make the reporting feature as easy as possible. I want you guys, when you come back to campus, to love your sport, to go to class and do awesome in the classroom, because we had the highest GPA ever, and we're a group of very, very, very smart individuals. I want you to do those things. I want you to love those things. And then I want you, when you have that free time and you're like binge watching Netflix, maybe you do this instead. Maybe that wasted time that you've had, and you know what I'm talking about. Oh, we're so busy as athletes, but you watched 14 hours of, Modern Family this week. Start thinking about some of those things. This is your opportunity to fill in those gaps of time. Summer break, winter break, evenings, days off, when you're resting and recovering. What can you do from the comfort of your iPhone that might make you some money? What are you doing to build your brand? So start thinking about some of these things. You're going to see it all over the country. You're going to see some elite level football and men's basketball players, and it is what it is, making 6-7 figures. And then you're going to see a big group of people just like yourselves, putting some money in the bank, making their car payments, paying their car insurance, paying their phone bill, putting a little bit of money away, maybe helping their parents out a little bit, because they've made some money doing some of these things that for the last, forever have not been permissible. And we're going to do them, and we're going to do it right, and we're going to do it well. And other schools are going to look at our programming and say Buffalo has them educated and has a streamlined program. We want to do what they're doing, because their kids are getting good opportunities because they're very clear on what they need to do. That's what's kind of the exciting piece of all this. Questions? It's a lot. It's a lot. We went through the examples, and I think I would be remiss if I didn't talk about some, just in general, like my maternal not having children instinct always kicks in and says, there's a lot of weirdos and creepers out there. There's a lot of people that may seem legitimate that need to be investigated a little bit further. If something sounds too good to be true, it's too good to be true. Somebody sounds like they're giving you this amazing deal or this amazing amount of money to do something that's not amazing, it's probably too good to be true. I would err on the side of caution. I would come to us. I would seek us out to vet some of these people. I would never, ever meet people or go to these places alone or in weird places. You want to be in public places. Treat it like you're selling something on Facebook Marketplace. I meet everybody at Target in the parking lot. Nobody comes to my house to pick up a couch. I sell everything in public just to avoid anybody knowing where I live, where I am, following me home, doing any of those things. Let's be really, really, really safe. My big fear is that one of you will get taken advantage of by somebody who asks you to front money for anything. Never do that. Or who asks you to meet them somewhere, or is trying to be is trying to exploit somebody. So let's be really, really, really smart and err on the side of caution with all of this buddy systems. Hopefully it'll be a little bit before you really, really get into like some off-campus stuff. Hopefully in the beginning, it's mostly online. Eric, do you have anything else to address the group on this? I know it's a quiet bunch tonight.
Yeah, there was a question about, will this be sent out? This is live on our website. It will be contained within the student athlete handbook. The student athlete handbook will be distributed to you via ARMS forms at the beginning of the year forms.
Yep.
You'll be able to review it there as well. Kelly will make available education materials, this recording, for those who weren't able to join us, and as well as anyone who wants to revisit. Yeah, and then to reiterate Kelly's point, if you're ever unsure of what the product is, you're likely the product, right? If you're online and someone's trying to offer you something for free, it's likely they're using your information, right? So same goes with small business. And I can't reiterate that enough. This is a small business. You are business people. Anytime you make money, you're conducting business. It may seem informal, $25 here, $50 there. That does add up. You need to be really cognizant of that.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, our policies, I'll post this video. The policy is already linked on the UB Bowls website. There's going to be a link each time an influencer you do one of these things. It says, I understand, and I've had a copy of the policy. That link will be right in there every single time. Eric and I also revamped the compliance, what we call student handbook, which is on the UB Bowls website too. It's linked in there. We'll go over it again at the beginning of the year team meetings. So you'll hear a summary of this again. Check in and check out meetings are going to change a little bit when we do those with teams, because we're going to talk about what's everybody doing and if anybody's got anything in the works, in the next week or so. But you will get all of the information you need all of the time. It's just a matter of how do you take it in, absorb it, understand it. You got your camera off, you're ignoring me, you got your phone out, you're watching something else. Those are the kids that'll have questions versus those of you engaging and understanding this and really, really, really letting this sink in right now. I'm a UB athlete, and for the first time ever, I'm going to be able to use my status right now to make a little bit of money. And I do want to make a little bit of a clarification. You can say verbally online, I'm a UB women's soccer player. You just can't use the marks or logos or colors or uniforms or any of that kind of thing. Nothing stops you from saying I'm Erin Murphy from the women's soccer team. I can't stop you from saying that. I can stop you from wearing your uniform or logos. I can stop you from saying that you're representing all of women's soccer. I can stop some of that stuff, but I can't stop you from identifying yourself verbally as an athlete. All right, at 9 o'clock or thereabouts, you should be getting the influencer email. Check your spam. It's going to your UB email address. You all have access to that. Every single one of you, all of the new students, you all have UB email addresses and you all have access. So please look there. Again, if something goes wrong while you're trying to create your account, it's likely because the phone number we had for you is bad. I used whatever one you had in ARMS last. Hopefully most of you haven't changed all your phone numbers. And that's what Influencer has, your name and your phone number to create your account. Because it's all going to be done on the phone. There is no web browser for you. There's no desktop version. There's only the phone version. Awesome. This is some crazy stuff. This is crazy, crazy stuff. It'll start slow. You watch peak football and basketball season, you'll really, really, really start to hear about this more. But I'm excited for you guys as Olympic sports of what you can do with this. What can you do in your hometown? What can you do here? What can you do with some of those cool products that you're testing out? And maybe you've got 20,000 followers. This is your time. This is it. This is your time to shine. So I'm excited for you guys. Questions, you can follow up with us afterwards. I'm going to chat out my cell. This is my work cell. I don't care. Just don't call me at midnight. I like to go to bed. That's for when you need really good information really quickly. You guys know we're here all the time. We're here 8:30 to 5 every single day. I have an office phone number. But if you really need to hit me up on my cell, I have no problem with that. I'd rather you texted me with a question about NIL than you didn't ask. For sure. We're going to be really accessible for this. So thank you guys. And every meeting, horns up. We will see you soon. If you're not here, be safe, get here safely, and let's go do this year. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you being on. Appreciate it.